Okay, don't get me wrong, I have my fair share of shows I watch seasonally, usually follow ups and sequels to anime I've already watched, but lately I've come to the conclusion that I fucking hate watching anime seasonally. I find myself watching these shows only to discuss them as they're airing, rather than because I find them enjoyable, entertaining, or interesting in any sort of way. Actually, at best, I might just think the anime is decent, and rarely ever do I find the anime to be great. But perhaps I've just become a cynic viewer, an anime fan who has lost any sort of joy of the actual experience of viewing anime. While this might hold to be true to an extent, I have watched various anime in recent memory that has ticked all the right boxes and scratched that itch that just seems to get harder and harder to scratch every single fucking year. Shows such as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the Aggressive Retsuko series have managed to scratch that itch, but shows like Bunny Girl Senpai are not engaging to me, but it fits a certain mold, standard if you will, of acceptable quality. Not great or amazing, but decent. The dialogue is interesting, but it's incredibly superficial and pretentious to the point I would rather just watch the Monogatari series since it does exactly what Bunny Girl Senpai does but infinitely better. Why would I watch something that's like Monogatari when I could watch something that is Monogatari? Even Zombieland Saga is just another cute girl singing idol anime that is serviceable enough in its quality to be entertaining and enjoyable. Most of these shows will only be discussed for another month at best, like before everyone has already forgotten about them and follow the next trend of seasonal anime and the cycle continues. Usually, 5 to 6 of any currently airing anime in a year are worth watching and being discussed at length, but yet we spend our limited time watching these shows that are just good enough, that are just the right amount of quality. Like, I've burned out on anime twice in the past few years, but by burned out, I mean just stopped enjoying or watching anime entirely for a few months before easing myself back into it again to try and reignite that passion, if you will. Every single time I burn out, it's never because I'm watching like 20 or so shows in 1 month, but rather because I'm watching like 5 or so seasonally airing anime for a few months and get bored to the point I would just rather watch fucking paint dry. Anime, like any medium, has a small fraction of amazing shows and a cesspool of mediocre garbage, barely worth your time or money. And this could hold no more truth than it does when applying it to seasonally airing anime. I mean, what do these shows offer in their respective genres that have unique qualities and bring something new to the table? Answer me that in the comments. Seriously, I want to fucking know exactly what makes these shows good. Whenever a seasonally airing anime gets big, it's because of some sort of lure, usually a gimmick of sorts, to pull a potential viewer in by word of mouth. Goblin Slayer is a good example of this. It just had to have that one scene, and everyone was eager to watch it and see it for themselves to see if it was really that bad. And some people liked it, some people downright loathed and despised it, but at the end of the day, it got the attention that it fucking needed, and that's all an anime bloody needs to become mildly successful, whether it be slime, bunny girl costume, or a standout scene in an episode to get people talking. All you need is a gimmick. The gimmick must stand out among the other generic cesspool garbage with this lure trick of dangling a carrot in front of the viewer to have them rushing towards it, because it's a lot more interesting to have that little gimmick that sets it out apart from other anime. An interesting premise, character design, setting, whatever the gimmick is, it just needs to be eye catching and create word of mouth to get attention. The anime in question doesn't even need to be great or even good, because with the right gimmick, people will watch it, and those who really do like it for whatever reason will defend it as if it's the savior of their anime industry, as if it needed to be fucking saved in the first place. Some seasonally airing anime have some sort of intrigue that have merit to at least watching them, and that's the trap. Once you watch them, you have to decide whether you dedicate yourself to keeping up with it or drop it entirely to watch something else. Personally, I hate watching seasonally airing anime when they're airing, because if I watch around 5 or so of them at a time, my memory tends to forget what happened in previous episodes, and therefore my interest has dipped immensely. Even if I remember, waiting a whole week for an episode to come out is kind of idiotic when I could just wait for them to finish and binge them all in one go, which is my preferred method of viewing anime anyway. The only reason at all to watch seasonally airing anime is to be part of the conversation, a big part of the discussion. Which, sure, it can be fun to discuss these things with your friends online and whatnot, discuss your thoughts and what might happen, etc. But they just aren't nearly as engaging if you're watching them over this long period of time because you're waiting for the episode to come out. And by which point, I'm just not really interested in it or felt like it was really worth my time at all. And usually I just end up dropping the anime entirely because it's such a superficial reason to watch a show only to discuss it, when anime is supposed to be a form of entertainment. And if I'm not entertained, I will simply stop watching a fucking show and just watch something else.
Here's to another lousy
Year of seasonal anime.